The episode begins with activities at Excalibur Academy 2 years ago, where Celia was practicing in a room. Celia appeared to be struggling against the robots she was sparring with. From a distance, Regina watched Celia with pity. Even though she was losing, Celia remained determined to practice because she believed her Excalibur was a sword, just like her older sisters. Suddenly, the robots stopped moving, and it turned out that Rhodes had deactivated them from his control device. Rhodes told Celia to give up and invited her to join his group. Of course, Celia refused as she believed her Excalibur would eventually awaken. When Rhodes tried to tempt Celia, Regina arrived and came to her rescue, pointing her Excalibur-shaped weapon at Rhodes. Eventually, Rhodes left on his own. The scene shifts back to the present, where Celia is seen sleeping in her bed, but she groans as if having a bad dream. Celia wakes up, and Leo is already by her side. Celia remembers the last time she was in the bathroom, but suddenly, she is now in her bed. Leo answers that he is the one who brought her there, but he used his magic, so he didn't see or touch Celia's body. Celia then asks who Leo really is. Leo confesses that he is an ancient sorcerer who has been resurrected. He says he brought Celia back from the dead with his magic. Leo originally wanted to resurrect Celia with level 10 magic, create Elder Undead, but it seems the results were unexpected. And now Celia has become the most powerful undead, the Vampire Queen. Celia is shocked to hear this. Leo explains that the previous day Celia felt weak due to a lack of magical energy, so she desired blood. Celia tries to come to terms with the fact that she is actually dead. Leo apologizes and says it was the only way to save her. Celia then recounts that when she was 9 years old, her hometown was attacked by the Void. All of Celia's family members were Excalibur users, and they died on the battlefield. Celia and Regina, the only survivors, were then taken to Excalibur Academy. Celia was expected to possess an Excalibur as well. She also believed that by fighting the Void, her Excalibur would awaken faster, so she embarked on dangerous missions. But until now, her Excalibur has not awakened. As they were chatting, Leo's stomach suddenly growled because he was hungry. He felt very embarrassed and blamed his petite body once again. They both eventually headed to the school cafeteria. Leo had never seen the food available there, so he decided to order just a piece of bread, the one thing he recognized. Celia scolded him, pointing out that eating only bread would lead to inadequate nutrition. Finally, Celia chose a meal for Leo. He agreed and promised to reimburse her later. From his pocket, Leo took out a gold coin and showed it to Celia. She was puzzled by the sight of the gold coin. Leo assumed that Celia would be surprised to see his gold coin because even one of them could buy the entire restaurant. However, Celia explained that it couldn't be used because everyone now used credits. Leo responded, stating that even though it couldn't be used for transactions, it was still a valuable metal. Celia replied again, saying that nowadays, silver made by magic was even more valuable. Leo was taken aback as he didn't expect that the 2,000 gold coins he had brought were now worthless. Suddenly, from behind, a girl followed by 2 men approached her, asking for some money. The girl promised to pay them next week, but the 2 men were not willing to wait unless she put her clothes, which they thought looked nice, as collateral. Naturally, the girl was very angry that they were holding her clothes. Swiftly, she drew her wooden sword and struck the 2 men. They quickly retreated and left her alone. Leo, who had been watching from a distance, was impressed by the girl's remarkable skills. Seeing this, Celia approached and greeted the girl, whose name turned out to be Sakuya. Celia inquired about the identity of the 2 men from earlier. Sakuya responded that they were casino guards she had encountered the day before. Celia then reminded Sakuya about her suspension due to poor quiz scores. Sakuya confirmed this and explained that she had gone to the city to have fun until late at night, hence her lack of money now. Celia introduced Leo, and Sakuya shook hands with him. When Leo touched her hand, he suspected that it was already trained with a sword. Finally, the 3 of them had a meal together. Leo asked about Sakuya's attire, as it didn't look like a uniform from their school. Sakuya explained that it was the traditional clothing from her village, Oran, and it was a keepsake from her brother. She continued, mentioning that the entire clan in her village had been wiped out by the Void, and now she wanted to eradicate it. At another time, Leo was in a testing room to determine his Excalibur type. The test instructor asked him to summon his Excalibur. Leo summoned the Staff of Sin Magic. The instructor then inquired about its type, and Leo responded that it might be a support type, depending on the situation. Leo then asked about the 3 robots beside him. Celia explained that they were void simulators designed to test their abilities. As the instructor focused on entering data into her tablet, suddenly an explosion occurred, which came from the 3 damaged void simulators. Leo felt worried because he had caused it, even though he had been restraining his power. The instructor and some students in the room were surprised by this turn of events. The instructor mentioned that she needed further analysis and would prepare a replacement simulator. Then Rhodes entered the room and offered to be a replacement void simulator. Rhodes claimed to be a level 1 Excalibur user, so he had the right to do it. Leo agreed firmly, which angered Rhodes for being underestimated by a child. He summoned his Excalibur, and 4 women in Rhodes' group did the same. Celia pointed out that it was unfair, as it seemed like Rhodes was ganging up on Leo. However, Rhodes countered, explaining that it was the power of his Excalibur, Dominion Absolute, and the girls were his weapons. Leo then accepted his explanation and said that he only needed to defeat them, right? The instructor confirmed, stating that Rhodes was testing him. Celia then offered to join the battle with Leo, claiming to be his guardian. Rhodes agreed, but with one condition: Celia had to join his group if she lost. Celia was somewhat hesitant, but Leo accepted the condition on the condition that if Rhodes lost, he wouldn't bother Celia anymore. The battle began, and Celia picked up a sword as her weapon. She stepped forward and engaged in combat with the girls one by one, while Rhodes watched from behind. Leo watched Celia in action and admitted that her swordplay was quite impressive. While Celia was occupied fighting one of the girls, Rhodes ordered another girl to attack Leo. Of course, the girl stood no chance and was easily defeated by Leo. Celia managed to disable the other 3 girls. Now Celia attempted to attack Rhodes directly, but he effortlessly stopped her with his magic staff. Celia was frozen in place, unable to move. Rhodes then walked towards Leo, planning to defeat him. Despite her immobilization, Celia continued to persist in trying to save Leo. Her determination was so strong that a bright light suddenly emanated from her hand. Yes, her Excalibur awakened, a sword that was a legacy from the Cristelia family. Rhodes was also surprised because Celia could move, and she could break the dominion of his Excalibur. Swiftly, Celia ran towards Rhodes and with a powerful swing, managed to cut Rhodes' Excalibur. Rhodes surrendered, and the match was won by Celia and Leo. Later in the evening, Leo and Celia arrived at the dormitory. Celia thanked Leo and considered him her familiar now. She explained that a familiar is a protective creature for their master. With a smile on her face, Celia touched Leo's head and promised that she would continue to protect him. Celia also had one request, which was for Leo to become even stronger. The scene shifted to the dining table, where a wide variety of dishes was prepared. Regina arranged all of this to celebrate Celia's Excalibur awakening. Sakuya and Fine were also there to join the celebration. Leo had officially become a part of their group. During the conversation, they asked where Leo would sleep since there were no empty rooms left in the dormitory. Fine, Regina, and Sakuya competed to have Leo stay in their rooms. However, Celia rejected all of their offers and insisted that Leo should sleep in her room because she was the one who found him, making her his guardian. The others eventually agreed. Celia and Leo were relieved to hear this decision because sharing a room would make it easier for them to keep their secret. Next, Leo was in Fine's room for a biometric test. Fine had an Excalibur called the Eye of the Witch, which had the function to observe and analyze data. Its main function, for now, was for communication. Fine shared her story, mentioning that she used to be a frontline attacker in her squad. However, during a mission, both of her comrades were killed by the Void, and since then, her Excalibur lost its original power. When she could no longer fight, Celia invited her to join her squad. The examination was complete, and Finney read the results saying, although his face is cute, he seems to have a liking for staring at large breasts. Leo was shocked and protested, asking where she got that data, but Fine claimed she was just joking, which relieved Leo. Near Fine, there was a monitor screen displaying a map, which caught Leo's interest. He borrowed a tablet from Fine to examine the map. Leo tried to analyze it and found that the map indeed displayed accurate information, but the surface structure had changed significantly compared to 1,000 years ago. Leo also pondered the possible connection between the Void's appearance and the ancient battlefield. Leo then summoned Blackus and inquired about the information he had gathered. Blackus stated that in the underground chamber at the center of the floating island, there was a large magic crystal embedded. People referred to it as the Magic Furnace. Blackus also explained that its magic circuitry was highly complex and distributed magic throughout the city. Leo became very interested in this information, considering it could be advantageous for him. After sharing this information, Blackus took his leave and continued his investigation. Right after Blackus disappeared, Sherry appeared to meet Leo. She carried a bag containing donuts and other foods, including cream puffs and ice cream. Leo interrupted Sherry's explanation, thinking she was just fooling around. However, Sherry had also gathered information stating that in the city, no one knew about the Demon Lord or the Thousand-Year War. Leo had already suspected this but was still puzzled about how such a significant war could be forgotten. Sherry heard someone taking a shower in the bathroom. She asked Leo if he had made Celia his familiar. Leo confirmed it and asked if there was a problem with that. Sherry was actually furious, and in her mind, she called Leo a foolish demon lord. Leo got angry when he heard what Sherry said because she called him foolish. Leo said that Celia was now the most powerful undead, the vampire queen, and she could be his right hand. Sherry became even angrier and jealous, telling Leo that she hated him. Leo still didn't understand why Sherry was behaving this way. From outside the room, Celia suddenly called Leo and said her bathroom was now empty. Sherry promptly left the room. The scene then shifted to another location, where several divers were searching for signs of the void. In the water, they saw a massive chain-like object, and nearby was a structure resembling the root of a giant tree, emitting a pair of luminous eyes. As they were perplexed by this sight, the root-like structure suddenly attacked and eliminated the divers with incredible speed.